We just ended our first three major film festivals of Telluride, Venice, and Toronto. Although we still got New York and London next month, we still have to predict my nomination predictions for the month of September. Welcome everybody to the second month of my Oscar nomination predictions, specifically in the Big Eight, from Adapted Screenplay, Original Screenplay, Supporting Actress, Supporting Actor, Lead Actress, Lead Actor, Director, and Best Picture, to see what could be nominated for this upcoming year's Academy Awards. So let's just say those three major film festivals has happened. And there have been some acclaimed films, some pretty good ones, and then there are some that got major disappointments. So, wow, although we still got two more festivals left, but man, things have been going a little bit crazy for many people's predictions. So, that's what I'll be doing for today's video. So if you want to see what my predictions were back in August, you can check it out and see what is going to be the major differences here. Now, before I begin, let's just kind of recap what just happened this past month. So as I mentioned, Telluride, Venice, and Toronto has happened. Venice and Toronto do have their big prizes. Venice went to the, for the Golden Lion, that went to the documentary To All of the Love and the Bloodshed, if I'm correct. I just had the pace. I just had it. I'm just, if I'm correct, yeah. All the Beauty and the Bloodshed. That's what the one is. That is the Laura Poitras documentary. She was the woman who did Citizen4, which that means if it is maybe your documentary frontrunner, that probably means it won't get nominated. And at TIFF, this was a very big top three. The Fabelmans, Steven Spielberg's first film to ever premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival, what a surprise, wins the People's Choice Award. Similar to like a young coming-of-age movie starring a young boy, as we saw with Belfast last year, and 3 years ago, I meant with Jojo Rabbit for 2019. And then you got the highly positive Woman Talking, which got a big premiere and Telluride first, and then showed up at Toronto, where it got second place. And the biggest surprise was Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, getting third place, the sequel to the 2019 film. So there also have been some major wins as well, and there have been some major changes in my prediction. Now, there are two predictions that have a massive change. The first one is the Banshees of Inisherin, which, if you don't know, last month I had it in Adapted Screenplay. But now it looks like it's going original, unless the Oscars decided just to put it in Adapted at the last minute, because it might be like those plays have no connection to the movie. It's just probably the title was just the thing. And this news, of course, came out this past week. And according to an article from Universal on Variety, Universal is campaigning Michelle Williams in leading for The Fabelmans, which I do not believe that. Like, you can think based on the trailer, but for those who have seen it, they said she is supporting. Now, I don't know if she is. I'm not having her in leading, and I had also took her for supporting because I'm not sure where it is going to be. But I will say I don't have her. I'm just going to wait on what the FYC ad says. So that will be the case. So with that said, let's get this started. Now, before I begin with my predictions, I do want to address something here real quick. This is just a little bit of something I just have to bring up. In the last predictions video, I won't reveal the user's name, but somebody really bashed my predictions. Specifically towards Babylon, specifically, of me not having acting nominations. Now, I'm not going to reveal the new user's name, but I deleted that, since I deleted that comment, and I don't remember what the user was. But I just want to make a specific, specifically my audience. I don't like to do this, but folks, this is just predictions. This is just for fun. Everyone is 100% not accurate. Like this is no contest. This is no like there are no right or wrong answers. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is there are no right or wrong answers. These are just predictions. And in the comments, don't be an asshole. I'm sorry I have to say that to my audience, but just don't be an asshole in the comments. These are just predictions. If you're bashing it, that's not a good thing. That is not what I want in the comments for my predictions. This is not, like, if you're heavily criticizing it, just keep your mouth shut. I'm sorry I have to address that, but I have to because I just don't want any criticism towards my comments. So there will probably be still some people won't like some of these predictions, but that's fine because no one doesn't know yet. Although for those who have seen films at Venice, Telluride, or TIFF, they would say, but not everyone has seen everything yet because basically almost a lot of the movies, with the exception of like 2 big ones, they haven't been fully released yet, either theatrically yet. So it's just like, it's September, we are just fresh off the festivals, there's still more coming, it's just like, we just gotta wait. So I don't like to bring that up, but I just had to mention it. So yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I just had to get that out of the way first. So starting up in my predictions for adapted screenplay, and I have my predictions right below me, I've got Ian Stockwell, Leslie Patterson, and Edward Berger for All Quiet on the Western Front, Ryan Johnson for Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, Kazuo Ishiguro for Living, Rebecca Linquist for She Said, and Sarah Polley for Women Talking. So as I've mentioned, The Banshees of Inisherin is probably now going to be going to original, as I don't know what the confirmation is. We'll just wait to see what FYC ad says, unless the Oscars pull in the adapted side. As I mentioned, Glass Onion got 3rd place at the People's Choice Award, so it's most likely guaranteed going to get a screenplay nomination. She Said, we're still waiting for it to see what the reactions are going to be in November. Woman Talking is still the front runner, which many people had assumed after it premiered, and I still do. Living, it was something that I completely forgot about this movie. Now, this one did premiere at Sundance, and like Coda last year, this is an English remake to a non-English language movie, which is the, I forget the title, I think it's Aikuro, and that is a Japanese film by Akira Kurosawa. So, an English remake of an Akira Kurosawa film. And since the writer is a British-Japanese person, since born in Japan but currently resides in the UK, it really does have, like, he kind of knows where to probably go with the style. How this movie also appeared at Venice and TIFF as well. So, and since we are losing contenders, as you might notice, the 2 I don't have in here that I had last month were The Sun for Florian Geller and The Whale for Samuel T. Hunter. The Whale had got a divisive reaction, and a lot of people think, well, even before it premiered, some people think it would just be more of an acting thing, which it looks like it could be, most likely at the moment. And The Sun, whew, that got really disappointment at both Venice and Toronto. Wow. Now, I'm not saying that those 2 films are out. I'm just thinking they're in the lower part of the predictions tier at the time being. Because keep in mind, there might be some public changes, like when it officially releases to the public. So, like there have been a lot of times where it's very mixed at film festivals, and then it gets a lot of acclaim on its theatrical run. That is a possibility. There could be like some okay or mixed receptions. So, yeah. So, All Quiet on the Western Front. I did mention I kind of considered this last month a bit. And this is Germany's adaptation, our now potential international feature frontrunner, which we'll get to in the original side, or specifically in these predictions. Obviously, the very first adaptation from the early 1930s or late 20s, I think it was 30s. It was the 3rd best picture winner ever. I know there was like an adaptation of the 70s. This one has got a lot of acclaim. Now, some people think Glass Onion could be Netflix's biggest contender right now. I don't know at the time being, because of course the first film only got in for screenplay. So that's why I only have it adapted. I still could see this getting a Producers Guild nomination. But right now I'm leaning towards more to All Quiet on the Western Front right now, and you'll kind of see why. Original screenplay, I've got Martin McDonagh for the Banshees of Inisherin. As I've said, um, everyone thought it was going to be adapted, but it looks like it was going to original because we never heard anything if Martin McDonagh said this was based on any of his plays that was ever performed. We don't know, so I don't know about that. I'm still questioning, but I just have it in the original site right now. Daniel Kwan and Daniel Schnurd for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Steven Spielberg and Tony Kushner for The Fablemans. Todd Field for Tar. And Julie Cho, Domi Shi, and Sarah Stretcher for Turning Red. The latter seems a bit interesting, and I'm surprised not a lot of people have this in their potential other contenders in this category. Now, obviously, because Lightyear obviously was a very disappointment, and this movie is still the latter Turning Red is still considered one of the best reviewed movies of the first half of the year. Pixar does well in the screenplay categories here. The last one they did was Inside Out, so it might be kind of due for Pixar to get another screenplay nomination. And it's very interesting that and Everything Everywhere All at Once, you do have two big Asian movies. So, I did have Decision to Leave in here at one point, but that's when I put the Banshees of Inisherin in here because when I heard it's probably going into original. Tar really went big here at Venice. It is going to be premiering in about a week or so. It feels like it is guaranteed in, and Everything Everywhere All at Once and The Fablemans are your top two. And right now, because it won the People's Choice Award, I am saying The Fablemans, because a lot of the times, the People's Choice Award winner does win screenplay. And it's very interesting that a coming-of-age movie starring a young boy would win that. Jojo Rabbit won in the adapted side, and Belfast won last year in the original side. So it makes sense to put The Fablemans over Everything Everywhere All at Once here for screenplay. So I'm not sure if this could be Tony Kushner's first win, if I'm not mistaken, but this would be Spielberg's first win for writing if The Fablemans does win, and that's where I'm going with this. Unless there could be some questioning of who's going to be eligible. We know McDonagh probably won't be for the Writers Guild because, of course, he's not a member. So if Spielberg's not a member of the guilds, that's going to be kind of a little bit of a hurtful thing. But then again, Belfast just won that without a WGA nomination. So we'll just have to wait and see. So, I would say the first four, I'm confident. Turning Red, it's just my fifth spot for right now. Because it's Pixar and it's been one of the best reviewed movies of the first half of the year, so that's why I am going with it. So there could be a possibility Decision to Leave at the moment if they do want to go with two mystery movies in both the adapted and the original side. We'll just have to wait and see, unless there could be a contender we're not thinking. I did actually consider Bros here at a point. I did consider that, but I kept Turning Red because Turning Red has the higher acclaim, but then again, Bros has not gotten an official release yet. So once that movie gets a proper release, we'll see where the public's reaction is going to be to that film. And if it does get more acclaim than it more better acclaimed reviews, because right now I think it's Bros is around low 90s, but if it gets up to the mid a little bit, I might put it in over Turning Red at the moment. So Bros is probably my sixth option right now, followed by Decision to Leave, but I feel like I'm kind of confident with these five, and I'm surprised everybody's kind of underestimating Turning Red. So let's see how it goes next month. Alright, so as I've stated a little bit at the beginning that we did heard Universal's potentially going to campaign Michelle Williamson leading. I don't believe that right now. I'm going to wait in the FYC ads, and because of that major discussions, I don't have her in here for supporting actress or lead actress. I don't have her in here in general because I don't know where to put her. If you want more information about this, I highly recommend you watch the Oscar Experts video, and him and his brother Bro did a pretty good job on a synopsis of this story, so they don't have to cover it for as you might see in their September predictions. But we do have one new candidate here, and one candidate I heard in somebody's predictions last month that I wasn't really thinking of, but it could be possible depending on how the reactions it does when it premieres in New York. So for supporting actress, I've got Jessie Buckley in Woman Talking, Carrie Condon in The Banshees of Inisherin, Claire Foy in Woman Talking, Stephanie Seuss in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Samantha Morton in She Said. So, Woman Talking, many people have been not only praising Buckley, but also Claire Foy. Some people think Claire Foy could be the more likely one, but I'm just sticking with Buckley as my frontrunner right now. Stephanie Seuss, that's still probably guaranteed. Carrie Condon got a lot of praise for The Banshees of Inisherin, and with McDonough getting 3 acting nominations for his last film with Frances McDormand, Sam Rockwell, and Woody Harrelson, it feels confident, and I'm kind of surprised. I wasn't really, none of us were really thinking of her. Some people were thinking maybe Barry Keoghan for supporting actor, but it looks like we found another contender in the supporting actress category. Now, for Samantha Morton, now she said has not premiered yet. But from the predictor I saw of what he had in his supporting actress lineup, it was in the Popcast Network channel. He had Samantha Morton in his supporting actress predictions, and that was because he had read the book of She Said. And he said that if they do go by the book, Samantha Morton's going to have a very big part. And if it does go accurate by the book, maybe on the lookout if people might talk about her in consideration for a nomination here. So it is a possibility. So we'll just see if that movie's going to go accurate to the book, if Maria Schrader, the director of She Said, and writer Rebecca Linklater are going to be going to that route. And if that does, that is a possibility. Unless if they do announce that if Carey Mulligan would go supporting here, that could hurt Samantha Morton's possibility. Like, I could see Morton still get in, like, for a jury vote at the BAFTAs, but that is kind of questioning of who's going to get in, because it's questioning. Even if you're British, like Buckley, or Irish, like Carrie Condon, you're probably still not safe to get in unless if you're a top 2 ballot. So, other candidates I had in here last month, one movie I forgot to mention here that I don't have in original screenplay that I took out, as well as are Empire of Light and Bordeaux, or False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths, which I'll kind of explain a little bit more about those, which I kind of forgot about those. So yeah, those were the 2 I took out for original. For this category, I took out Vanessa Kirby in The Sun. Although many people do praise her and Laura Dern's performance, I don't know if it's possible with that divisive reaction. Sadie Sink could be a possibility in for The Whale, but it depends on how young she is. Although she does have, of course, Stranger Things and Taylor Swift's All Too Well music video, which we know it's eligible for live action short, could help her get in the potential conversation in here. I don't know what else. I took out Griselda Silencia for Bardo here as well. We'll get to that probably when... I might save those 2 when we get to picture, so... We'll just have to wait and see, but... I don't know who to go with, but I'm sticking with Buckley as my frontrunner right now. So, I know many people think Claire Foy is more likely, but right now, I'm saying Buckley. Alright, for supporting actor, man, there has been a lot of changes I did here, because you'll see why, and I almost ended up going back to my original August lineup, except for one difference, of course. So I have Brendan Gleeson in The Banshees of Inisherin, Judd Hirsch in The Fabelmans, Ki-Hugh Kwan in his supposed lead performance in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Let me know in the comments if you have seen the movie. Is he a co-lead? Because somebody, the person in the Popcast Network live stream who talked about Samantha Morton thinks that Ki-Hugh Kwan is leading. I'm not 100% sure yet, because I usually watch all the Oscar-nominated movies after the ceremony, because I do a big marathon for it. So it would be interesting if A24 puts him in leading. That could be a possibility, but I'm not really sure. Brian Tyree Henry in Causeway, and Ben Whishaw in Women Talking. So there could be also maybe a possibility Gleeson could go leading. It really depends. I don't remember how much screen time he has, what the review said about The Banshees of Inisherin. For The Fabelmans, it was interesting, because after I took out Judd Hirsch, I put Paul Dano and Seth Rogen in here. And then I just took Rogen out and put Dano. But many people are saying those 2 performances are not really strong comparing to Michelle Williams and Judd Hirsch. And even though Hirsch is only 1 minute of screen time, but if Judi Dench managed to get in for a small role in Belfast, I would not be surprised if Judd Hirsch would be the one. Causeway has got a lot of praise. Although there was some positivity for Jennifer Lawrence's performance, but they were not, like, it's not at the levels of her best, many people said, but a lot of people did praise Brian Tyree Henry's performance, and some people do think he could get in here, so, if I'm not correct, he's a comedic actor. Like, a comedic actor in a dramatic role like that could really do something here, so that could really into him to do a first nomination. Wish is pretty much guaranteed, but right now Ki Hu Kwan is still the front runner in this category, unless if the word is if I like I said, let me know in the comments if you have seen Everything Everywhere All at Once. Let me know if he is a co-lead with Michelle Yeoh. So if A24 does put him in leading, that could mean Ben Whishaw might be the front runner for me. So, but right now I have Ki Hu Kwan out front for this category. One person I did took out was Zen McGrath from The Sun, and as we've mentioned, The Sun has got major devices, and a lot of people did not like Zen McGrath's performance, so that is guaranteed not going to happen. Any other possibilities? I don't know at the moment, but we'll just have to wait and see if there could be any other considerations for some of the other films we might be overlooking. So, I'm confident with 4 of those right now. Brian Tyree Henry might be my 5th spot, but we'll see how everything goes. I've been saying that a lot today's video. Jeez. Going into actress, only one change. I've got Naomi Ackie in I Want to Dance with Somebody, Kate Blanchett in Tar, Danielle Detweiler in Till, Zoe Kazan in She Said, and Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now, the trailer for I Want to Dance with Somebody came out, and it does feel like it's going to go in the Bohemian Rhapsody style. And even if that movie gets divisiveness, I think the performance still will get in, since it is written by Anthony McCartan, and you got Cassie Levens, who did Harriet, which got Cynthia Erivo in here. So even if that movie gets divisiveness, and it looks like she is not actually singing like Malik does a Bohemian Rhapsody, which that could cause him a little bit of criticism, and many people won't like that, but she's playing Whitney Houston, McCartan's the writer, so it's probably going to get in. Many people think Blanchett could get her 3rd win after that reaction to Venice. I'm not saying it right now because I still have Danielle Detweiler out for Till, which is kind of surprising. As I said last month, it was not premiering at like Toronto, but it is coming out next month, this upcoming one, and we'll see how that performance gives if it does have a big impact towards the feature. She Said we'll also see where Zoe Kazan could be. Now, it is many people still wondering if they're going to both go leading, both supporting, or Kazan leading, Logan supporting, Logan leading, Kazan supporting. But it looks like, based on the trailer and the poster, it looks like Kazan might be taking the lead here. And Michelle Yeoh is a guaranteed. The one I took out was Olivia Colman, and I can mention Empire of Light. That had some major disappointments. Not in the levels of The Sun, but more of an okay reception. But people do praise it for her performance, the score by Reznor and Ross, and Roger Deakins' cinematography. Although it's most likely to get in for score and cinematography, I don't have Coleman in here for actress. And you know for a fact this is not going to be a film that the jury is going to go with for her performance. There has been one film I've been kind of missing out on some of these predictions, but I'll explain once we get into picture. I still have it in a picture, but I'll explain it more later on. So you might have been noticing I had one film completely out, which I just realized, but I'll explain. For Best Actor, I have Colin Farrell in The Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser in The Whale, Song Kang-ho in Broker, Bill Nighy in Living, and Jim Parsons in, spoiler alert, The Hero Dies. This is Fraser's comeback, and I do have him out as the front runner. However, hopefully Darren Aronofsky does not say something stupid when the film gets released, because many people have the divisive reactions to this. Like, many people don't like it how he portrayed obesity and stuff like that, although they do praise Fraser's performance. It's just like, kind of like Mother, where he made a whole hate towards people who support abortion, and The Whale would be a movie that he would a hate message to fat people or something like that. If he says something stupid in the next coming months prior to the release, or when the movie's released, if he does not say anything, if he keeps his mouth shut, that can still be good for Fraser. But if he does, that's going to hurt Fraser's chances of winning because people will go backlash towards Aronofsky and the film, and Fraser would be innocent for this role, like for this movie, because he and Sadie Sink and the cast would. But if there is anybody who is his competition, and that is Colin Farrell, he won actor in Venice, so he would be the most likely member of the cast to take a win. Broker, I was kind of like with Song Kang-ho. Now, Broker is not South Korea's submission, and it's kind of going the levels of Parallel Mothers, where Song Kang-ho could still get in without that movie being submitted, because Parallel Mothers was not Spain's submission, but Penelope Cruz still managed to get in for actress and almost won from the rumored last-minute voting. Now, I was not originally going to go with him, which is why I didn't went with him in August, although, yes, he won Best Actor at Cannes, but because I predicted Renate Reinsve in my personal predictions, I didn't do it, but in videos, but I was predicting Renate Reinsve from August to like November for Best Actress for The Worst Person in the World, and it was like not happening, so it almost happened, but I felt like if somebody was going to win at Cannes, I felt like they were not getting in, but since we've been losing contenders here because I took Daniel Jimenez Cacho for Alfred Bardo and Hugh Jackman for The Sun, which some people still think he could get in still, but I don't. I'm not saying he's out, as I've said, I just think he's lower. But with Parasite behind him, that could make him give him a nomination, because some people thought including myself, thought he was going to get in for supporting actor for Parasite at the last minute, but Anthony Hopkins took a spot. But I think this could be like a potential for him to get nominated. Bill Nighy has been respected for many people throughout many years. I think this would be his first nomination, so that would be the thing. And Jim Parsons, as I mentioned, this is from the guy who did The Big Sick and The Eyes of Tammy Faye, the director Michael Showalter. Personal film Parsons is really passionate for, producer behind it. Like Tammy Faye, Jessica Chastain had that similar veins. Don't think would be a win, but a December release is definitely good for it. So I do have Jim Parsons in here still. On to Best Director now. I've got Edward Berger for All Quiet on the Western Front, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Schnert for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans, Joseph Kosinski for Top Gun Maverick, and Sarah Polley for Women Talking. So you might be wondering, where's Damien Chazelle? Or in fact, where's Babylon throughout most of my predictions? Well, that was because of the trailer. And when I watched it, it gave me vibes. It's that Chazelle is trying to make a combination of Baz Luhrmann's The Great Gatsby and The Wolf of Wall Street, which could be either a good thing or not a good thing. Probably not an NC-17 rated movie, but more likely an R-rated one, since there was an uncensored trailer. And I know Paramount really could go with it, probably would be campaigning the hardest, since it is centering around Hollywood. But that trailer just had me something and ticked me off a bit, because I had an original screenplay. I actually did put in Lee Jun-Lee for supporting actress and Brad Pitt for supporting actor. I was never going to go with Margot Robbie for actress, and after hearing that accent, I don't know if that could do it. And because how crazy it is, I still think it could get in here, like in the levels of Mank. But because of how crazy it is, I just had to take Chazelle out. I just don't know what is going to happen with that movie. It feels like there's not going to be a story going on. We just don't know. So, like, that's why Spielberg replaced him, because I was going to go with Edward Berger when I was really considering All Quiet on the Western Front, because I think it could be the international one, because I also took Inarritu out, and I can explain with Bardot, those reactions at Venice did not go well. And like The Sun and Empire of Light, I don't think Bardot is out. And there is some recent rumors that Inarritu might be editing out some things that were shown at Venice and could try to make a better cut for its official releases in Mexico and then throughout America through Netflix. But I really don't know. Now, some people would think if Netflix is going to have a big contender, like I said with Glass Onion, they could put Rian Johnson in. But right now, based on what I think could be the more directing style, and that we probably need to have at least one international film, I went with Edward Berger for All Quiet on the Western Front. Spielberg, some people thought it was not going to happen, but it looks like it's going to be now. Sometimes, like I said, if you win TIFF, that doesn't automatically mean you get director. But if The Fabelmans is Spielberg's Belfast, then that probably means if Kenneth Branagh got in, Spielberg will probably get in. Joseph Kosinski, I'm still confident in that, and Sarah Polley. Some people think she could be the front runner, but for me, I think the Daniels are the front runner, because I had that feeling if The Fabelmans won TIFF, if it did want TIFF, I would, because last month I had Everything Everywhere All at Once in front for Screenplay. And then when I was thinking, if The Fabelmans wins TIFF, it's in front for Original Screenplay, and with Inarritu and me bumping Giselle out, and not confident in Sarah Polley at the moment, I put the Daniels out front here. So if there are going to be a place where the Daniels might take a win, it would have to be here. So that Sarah Polley, Steven Spielberg, and the Daniels all would get individual wins, with Polley and Spielberg in the screenplays and the Daniels in for director. So I have Daniel Kwan and Daniel Stern out front for director, with possibly either Polley or Spielberg right behind, followed by Kosinski and Berger as the fifth spot. Rian Johnson could come in if Netflix wants to do it, but we'll just have to wait and see. And finally, for my Best Picture nomination predictions of 10, I got All Quiet on the Western Front, Babylon, yes, I'm still saying Babylon in here for picture, The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, She Said, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, and Women Talking. All Quiet on the Western Front, as I've stated, it's probably now our big international film contender, because it really looks like it could get other nominations outside of international feature. As I've show you, I have it for screenplay and director. It's guaranteed probably for sound. Cinematography is a possibility. Maybe editing because it's a war movie. But I feel like this could be, I would say, Netflix's biggest contender right now. Well, it's coming out next month, so we'll just have to wait and see what that reaction, like the public's reaction to that film is. Babylon, I know I don't have it for director, acting nominations, or screenplay, but I think it will have enough text to support it. Because I still think, even if it goes in the Baz Luhrmann style, I think it still will win costume and production design. Cinematography is a guaranteed. I don't know about makeup and hairstyling, maybe film editing and original score. So it will have enough text to support it. Unless this could be like the film I will bet against on almost everything in the Big Eight and then just overperforms on Oscar nomination day. This happened to me with The Irishman, Mank, and West Side Story last year. But this just only would be for the final predictions. So unless this movie gets very divisive, it's probably not going to go in picture, and Paramount might have to go highly more big to Top Gun Maverick instead. The Banshees of Inisherin, many people have loved this movie. It's like, oh, it's getting it just because it's good. It's just everyone loves this film. Like, both at Venice and Toronto, and with Empire of Light not getting a strong positive reaction, only going to an okay to average reception, it looks like Searchlight might go with McDonough's pick instead of Sam Mendes. Everything Everywhere All at Once is a guaranteed. Fabelmans, many people have as the front runner. I don't, because not all the time your People's Choice Award at TIFF wins Best Picture. A lot of the times, because Green Book was the last. No, Nomadland was. But then you go back to Green Book. I know Spotlight did. 12 Years a Slave. I think Argo and the Artist. I know The King's Speech did. And 12 Years a Slave. Yeah, not Argo, because that was Silver Linings Playbook. So sometimes you do win, sometimes you don't. I know The Fabelmans more has a higher reception, but as I've kind of explained a little bit at the end, we'll get to the end. So Del Toro's Pinocchio, I'm still going with it, even if it's yet to be released. If you want to know more information why I'm going with the picture, it's just usually have two Netflix films in for picture. It's Del Toro, and they love him so much that they did nominate Nightmare Alley here last year. And because of the controversy last year on how ABC/the Academy treat animation, and a movie like this could potentially do it. She Said, as I kind of mentioned in the last predictions, I was not going with it because you have the same producers of Women Talking with the exception of Frances McDormand, Brad Pitt, Dee Dee Carter, and Germany Kleiner. But since we have been losing contenders, since I did took out Bardo, Empire of Light, The Sun and the Whale off my list, it comes in here and we'll have to see what the reactions are of New York. Tar is most likely now guaranteed getting in after its big praise at Venice. Top Gun Maverick is still in unless we have to see what Avatar The Way of Water or Black Panther Wakanda Forever has to say. And I still have Women Talking as my frontrunner because it is the smaller movie, and a lot of the times the smaller movie does intend to win a lot. Like, wins the big prize instead of all the bigger contenders. Now, She Said it's kind of also in the similar veins as well. But it would be, I kind of think, what if a scenario if She Said gets higher acclaim than Women Talking, then, like, is She Said now the front runner? Or is it like that shows The Fabelmans is the front runner or for me? Like, it really depends, because Women Talking is kind of like in the upper 80s for some people. Some people do have like 4 out of 5 or 9. Like, there might be some that think it's okay or kind of overrated for some people. But right now, I still have Women Talking as my picture frontrunner for the month of September. We'll see what the public's reactions are going to be. I forget if it's either November or December is coming out. But I still have it as my picture frontrunner. So, any others like Black Panther and Avatar are kind of lingering in the bottom, like numbers 11 through 15 for me between those. Well, same thing with Glass Onion. I think Glass Onion would be my number 11, followed by Black Panther and Avatar. So we'll just have to wait and see what the reactions to She Said comes to be, and maybe Del Toro's Pinocchio, and the public's reaction to All Quiet on the Western Front. I believe Banshees is coming out next month, and Tar and She Said's premiere at at New York. So that's going to be it for my predictions of September. I think this might have been a little bit quicker because I didn't really need explanations except for some of the new contenders. So let me know what you guys are predicting in the comments. Remember, don't heavily criticize on my predictions. Just don't do it, please. These are just fun and games, I would say, almost. Like, this is just, there are no right or wrong answers, so just don't be an idiot in the comments. So I'm sorry to say that, but if you're new to this, you can hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like, your personal predictions. Hit the like button if you do enjoy these. So we'll have to see where we go when some of these films get its public's reactions before we go into the big months of the holiday seasons. So we'll see how it goes with my predictions before Halloween comes in.